Hey everybody, Ashton Harvey here with Significant Edge Academy, where we are here focused on helping you increase your income and scale your business. And in today's video, I'll be talking about the 5 different ways to build out your network to increase your net worth. But before we get started, I want you to smash that like button. And if you like today's video, subscribe by clicking that beautiful juicy button below to get more videos just like this every single week. So with that being said, let's get into today's video. All right, so if you were to ask your colleagues, who was Paul Revere? Most of you would probably know the answer. He was, after all, immortalized in the Longfellow poem that begins, "Listen, my children, and y'all shall hear of the midnight ride of Paul Revere." Well, if you didn't know who they were, well, now you know. Yet, how many of your colleagues, students of American history aside, would be familiar with William Dawes? Both men rode on horseback from Boston on the night of April 18th, 1775. Both men sounded the alarm of the Revolutionary War had begun. Dawes rode south while Revere rode north, but both the towns that they traveled to were very demographically similar. Both men came from the same social class and had similar education backgrounds, but only Revere raised a militia, and only Revere became known and famous. So the question is, what accounts for the difference? In large part, it's the type of social network that each man cultivated before the Revolutionary War. All right, so I want to show you this diagram right here. Paul Revere was an information broker, or in today's age, a social butterfly, a person who occupies a key role in social networks by connecting separate groups of people. Because Revere targeted other well-connected people during his ride, his news spread like wildfire. It's well explained in Malcolm Gladwell's The Tipping Point. For example, William Dawes was not a social butterfly and did not have the connections into more influential connections. So he didn't know which doors to knock on when he entered a new town. As a result, the information that he carried was circulated within small groups of people instead of expanding outwards and gaining momentum. Now imagine that the information being ferried by messengers isn't about some red coat, but it's about a new product or a solution for your ideal customer. If that information isn't delivered to the right people in the right way, it will wither and die. For example, before Microsoft was a household name, Bill Gates had a singular distinction in his network: his mom, Mary Gates, who sat on the board of United Way with John Akers, a high-level IBM executive. At that time, Akers was helping to lead the IBM into the new desktop computer age. Mary Gates talked to Akers about the new breed of small companies in the computer industry, which she felt were underappreciated. Maybe she changed Akers' mind and his vision of how to go for the new IBM PCs. Or maybe her comments confirmed what he already knew. Either way, after the conversation, Akers took proposals from small companies, of which Microsoft was a part of. And the rest was history. Microsoft won the DOS contract and eventually eclipsed IBM as the world's most powerful computer company. Without Bill Gates' potential network, a sensational operating system might have just faded away into obscurity, just like William Dawes. Now, some of you watching this video might not be so lucky as to have a catalyst connection like Mary Gates, but that doesn't mean you can't start working today to establish it. Here are 5 ways for you to start building out your network to start building the foundations to your net worth. All right, number 1, ask for information, not sales. How awkward is it when you go to a networking event and everybody you're talking to is trying to sell you something to you or sell something to people that you know? Network doesn't work that way. Most people think it does, but it doesn't. Getting referred or even better recommended for a sales opportunity is great. But networking is more valuable for the information that you get. Through network, you can learn what specific companies are like, what their problems are, what solutions and products that they're considering, and more, and so on and so on. Focus on what you can learn, not what you can get from your networking experience, and you're far more likely to find an enjoyable and productive experience. Now, with that being said, I'm not saying go out to a networking event right here, right now, especially if you don't feel comfortable. Right now, start with the people in your immediate field. I know, thinking of one reason people cringe at the idea of network is because they associate it with walking into a room full of strangers and asking for business cards. That actually sounds very awful. Instead, like I said, start with people that you're already connected to. What can you learn from your current circle of colleagues, former colleagues, neighbors, and friends? Are there others that they can connect you with in order to expand your circle and to learn more about certain companies, industries, or sales opportunities? Number 2, find ways to work with others. See, Adam Grant wrote a compelling New York Times op-ed calling networking overrated and arguing that great work leads to connections, not the other way around. His advice is spot on. If you're looking for a new sales job, or especially if you're currently employed and you're trying to find a way to work with others, to connect in a way that is far more meaningful than engaging than a cocktail party banter, this can mean volunteering. It also may be working with a freelancer or spinning off a side hustle. Volunteering can be a great way for you to network and gain skills, but only if you choose projects carefully. Check out, it's called catchfire.org. It's a website full of great opportunities to work and support nonprofits. All right, so number 3, focus on what you can give. Some of the best and I would even say most well-known connected people that I know are some of the greatest givers. What held me back for many years was growing up, I treated every relationship as if it was a transaction. I did this for you, and so you should do this for me. Phrases like, you owe me, and why should I do this for you? And what value does this personally bring to me dominated my daily vocabulary and my mental space. This mentality really kept me stuck for years. But when I was able to really make the mental shift from treating relationships as a transaction and more of an investment into everything changed for me for the better. At its best, networking isn't about taking. It's all about giving. Think about ways that you can offer to people what you know and people that you like to know, some ways you can give, including introductions, helping someone brainstorm through an idea or a project where you have expertise maybe, or maybe even just sharing resources that you found useful in learning about that will help that other individual as well. Stop being so selfish and start sharing as much as you possibly can. I probably sent links to hundreds of newspapers and magazine articles over the course of the years. And this is just a funny story. I remember I sent a text message to a good friend of mine, Dana Donofree, CEO and founder of Ono Intimate. I met her a year earlier at a conference. I sent her a text message that simply said, "Hey, I was thinking of you after receiving this amazing gift from my wife, saw this margarita recipe and knew you'd get a kick out of it." I sent the picture of the recipe and ended the message with, "I hope you're doing well. I look forward to connecting with you again soon." Moments later, literally, she sent me another text message. Ultimately, we had an amazing time catching up over the phone. During that phone call, she was sharing with me all these amazing tips and tricks on how to grow our business to help Yellow Threads Co. And it was just amazing. And like I said, she's a really great friend of mine. If you don't know who she is, go check her out. The link will be in the description below. All right, so number 3, attend networking events and hang out at the same places that people you want to connect with hang out. Every industry has conferences and trade shows that provide great networking opportunities. There are local meetups and local organizations that hold regular events that are great for building your network. This applies to both online and offline. As mentioned previously, LinkedIn groups and Twitter chats are great places to connect. If you want to connect with certain groups online, then participate and introduce yourself. Offline, this could be it could be a lunch and learn, it can be a happy hour spot, that most people frequent after work. Most places people want to go and connect and be found. Just go out there, right? Be friendly and social, and you will make new connections really easily. And number 5, be thankful. Here's my top piece of advice to you, and it starts with a question. When was the last time you sent a handwritten letter out to anybody? My piece of advice is invest in stationery. Send thank you notes, handwritten as often as possible to anyone who helps you in any sort of way. Not only is this polite, your mother will really love and be proud of you. But in all honesty, nothing beats gratitude as a means of boosting your spirits, especially during difficult times. And it will make you memorable. People who feel you are grateful for their help are more inclined to really helping you gain a bigger network to help you build out your network. All right, so thank you so much for watching today's video. If you like today's video, you might consider watching this video on how to build a fail-safe sales process. And while you're at it, go ahead and download your free Significant Edge action guide to help you accomplish more in less time. And until next time, of course, be kind, be bold, be significant. I'll see y'all next time.